Hair thinning doesn't start where you think it does, and if you're still chasing oils and shampoos, you're already losing the battle. My channel name is BioBites, and you are warmly welcome to BioBites. Before we start, I want to know something about you. Drop your age in the comments and also tell me where you're from, your city, and your country. I read your comments, so don't skip this. Now, let's get started. First, your scalp is suffocating, not dry. Most people treat hair like it's dead, but your scalp is living tissue. When inflammation builds up, it chokes blood flow. No blood, no nutrients, no growth. The real fix: reduce inflammation at the root level. Cold rinses, anti-inflammatory foods, and avoiding harsh chemicals are not optional. They're the foundation. Second, your follicles are shrinking right now. This is called miniaturization, and it's silent. You won't notice until it's too late. The $2000 clinic's secret: stimulating follicles before they die. Microneedling at home, done correctly, forces your scalp into repair mode, increasing collagen and waking up dormant follicles. Third, your diet is sabotaging your hair. You can't outgrow a nutrient deficiency. Hair is made of protein, fueled by iron, zinc, and biotin. If your meals are low quality, your body prioritizes survival over hair. That means shedding increases, thickness decreases. Fix your internal chemistry or accept external loss. Fourth, your hormones are out of balance. DHT is the real enemy in most hair thinning cases. It binds to follicles and slowly shuts them down. The expensive clinic solution: blocking DHT, the smarter move. Natural DHT blockers like pumpkin seeds, green tea, and saw palmetto. Consistent, not occasional. Fifth, you're washing your hair wrong. Overwashing strips natural oils. Underwashing clogs follicles. Both kill growth. You need balance, clean scalp, but not stripped. And stop using cheap shampoos filled with sulfates. They damage the scalp barrier over time. Sixth, stress is silently destroying your hair. Chronic stress pushes your hair into the shedding phase. It's not motivation talk, it's biology. High cortisol levels disrupt the hair growth cycle. If your mind is chaotic, your hair will follow. Every one of these points is a piece of a system, not a hack, not a trick, but a biological reset that determines whether your hair recovers or continues to disappear. If you're serious about reversing hair thinning, not just slowing it down, then stop consuming random tips and start applying what actually works, consistently, aggressively, and without excuses. You think your hair is falling out because it's weak? Wrong. Your scalp is under attack and you don't even feel it happening. What most people call dryness, dandruff, or sensitivity is often low-grade chronic inflammation. This isn't visible like a wound, but it's far more destructive. Inside your scalp, tiny inflammatory signals are being triggered every single day by harsh shampoos, pollution, poor diet, even hot water. And here's the brutal truth: inflamed skin cannot grow healthy hair, no matter what oil or serum you apply. When inflammation builds up, your blood vessels begin to tighten. That means reduced circulation, less oxygen, fewer nutrients reaching the follicles. Imagine trying to grow a plant in dry, compact soil with no water flow. That's exactly what your hair is dealing with. The follicles don't just slow down, they suffocate. Growth cycles shorten, strands become thinner, and eventually, entire follicles shut down. Here's where most people completely mess up. They try to fix hair from the outside: expensive oils, masks, treatments, all sitting on top of a damaged environment. That's like painting over rust and expecting the metal to become strong again. It won't. If the scalp isn't healthy, nothing grows properly. Now listen carefully. Your daily habits are either feeding inflammation or fighting it. Hot showers. They strip natural oils and trigger irritation. Cheap shampoos loaded with sulfates and fragrances. They break your skin barrier. Junk food. It spikes inflammatory responses inside your body, which shows up on your scalp faster than you think. And the scary part, you won't notice the damage immediately. There's no pain, no warning sign, just gradual thinning, weaker strands, more hair in your hands every time you touch it. The fix isn't complicated, but it requires discipline. You need to calm the scalp, not attack it. Cold or lukewarm rinses help reduce inflammation instantly. Anti-inflammatory foods like leafy greens, turmeric, and omega-3 fats support healing from within. Gentle, sulfate-free cleansing protects the barrier instead of destroying it. Ignore this, and no treatment will save your hair. Fix this, and you give your follicles a fighting chance to survive and grow again. You think your hair is just thinning? No. Your follicles are literally shrinking right now, and once they die, they don't come back. This process is called follicle miniaturization, and it's the silent killer behind most hair loss. It doesn't happen overnight, which is exactly why people ignore it. Each hair cycle produces a slightly thinner, weaker strand than the last. You won't notice it at first, but over time, thick hair turns into fine, barely visible strands. Eventually, the follicle becomes so small and weak that it stops producing hair completely. Here's the part no one tells you. By the time you visibly see thinning, you've already lost a significant percentage of follicle strength. You're late, not hopeless, but definitely late. And if you keep delaying action, those follicles cross a point of no return. Now let's talk about what expensive clinics charge thousands for stimulating those dying follicles before they shut down. The principle is simple but powerful. Controlled damage triggers repair. This is where microneedling comes in. Tiny, precise punctures are created on the scalp, forcing your body to respond with healing mechanisms. Blood flow increases, collagen production rises, growth factors are released, dormant follicles get a signal they haven't received in a long time: wake up. But here's where people mess it up badly. They either don't do it consistently or they do it aggressively without understanding the technique. Too shallow and nothing happens. Too deep or too frequent and you cause more harm than good. This isn't a random hack. It's a calculated stimulation process. And no, oils alone won't reverse miniaturization. If blood flow is low and follicles are shrinking, applying something on the surface won't magically penetrate and fix the root problem. Without stimulation, you're just maintaining decline at a slower pace. Another harsh truth: genetics may load the gun, but your habits pull the trigger. Poor scalp care, bad nutrition, and hormonal imbalance accelerate miniaturization much faster than most people expect. Time is your biggest enemy here. Every week you ignore this process, follicles get weaker, the window to recover them gets smaller. And once they're gone, you're not regrowing them. You're looking at transplants or permanent loss. You keep buying products hoping something will fix your hair. But what if the real problem is inside your body, not on your scalp? Hair is not a priority for your body. Survival comes first. That means if you're low on essential nutrients, your body will redirect whatever little you have toward vital organs, your brain, heart, immune system, and your hair gets whatever is left, which is usually nothing. So when you see thinning, shedding, or weak strands, it's not random. It's a biological downgrade. Let's break it down. Hair is primarily made of a protein called keratin. No protein intake, no building blocks. Your body literally cannot produce strong hair. Now add iron into the equation. This mineral is responsible for carrying oxygen in your blood. Low iron levels mean less oxygen reaches your hair follicles, slowing growth and increasing shedding. This is why people with iron deficiency often experience aggressive hair fall. Zinc plays another critical role. It supports tissue repair and keeps oil glands around the follicles functioning properly. Without it, your scalp environment becomes unstable. Then comes biotin, often overhyped but still essential. It helps convert nutrients into energy that fuels hair growth. Deficiency here leads to brittle, fragile strands that break easily. Here's where people get it completely wrong. They assume they're eating enough. Calories are not nutrition. You can eat a full stomach of junk and still starve your hair at the cellular level. Processed foods, sugar, and low-quality diets create inflammation while providing almost zero usable nutrients for hair production. And no, popping random supplements without understanding your deficiency won't magically solve it. If your diet is consistently poor, supplements become a temporary bandage, not a solution. The foundation has to be real, nutrient-dense food: eggs, fish, meat, legumes, leafy greens, nuts. These are not optional if you're serious about reversing thinning. Another reality check: crash dieting and extreme calorie restriction are one of the fastest ways to trigger hair loss. Your body interprets it as stress and shuts down non-essential functions, including hair growth. If your internal chemistry is broken, your hair will reflect it. You can't cheat biology. You either fuel your body properly and give your hair what it needs to grow, or you slowly watch it weaken, thin out, and disappear. You can massage your scalp, fix your diet, even stimulate your follicles. But if this one hormone is out of control, it will quietly erase your hair anyway. The real driver behind most pattern hair loss isn't poor hygiene or bad luck. It's a hormone called DHT, short for dihydrotestosterone. And here's the uncomfortable truth: DHT is not bad by itself. Your body needs it, but when your follicles are genetically sensitive to it, DHT turns into a slow, relentless attacker. This hormone binds directly to receptors in your hair follicles, not on the surface, deep at the root. And once it attaches, it starts shrinking the follicle cycle by cycle. Each new hair grows thinner, shorter, weaker. Eventually, the follicle becomes so small it can't produce visible hair anymore. That's not shedding, that's shutdown. Here's where most people completely misunderstand the problem. They treat the symptoms, not the cause. Oils, masks, and serums don't block DHT. They might make your hair look better temporarily, but they do nothing to stop the hormonal attack happening underneath your skin. Now pay attention. DHT doesn't suddenly spike for no reason. Your lifestyle plays a huge role in how aggressively it affects you. Poor sleep, chronic stress, high sugar intake, and lack of exercise all contribute to hormonal imbalance. When your system is out of sync, DHT activity becomes more destructive. Clinics charge thousands to deal with this using pharmaceutical blockers. And yes, they can work, but they come with potential side effects that most people aren't prepared for. That's why a smarter approach is controlling DHT naturally and consistently. Compounds found in pumpkin seeds, green tea, and saw palmetto have shown the ability to reduce DHT activity over time, not instantly, not dramatically, but steadily. But here's the mistake people make. They try something for a week and quit. Hormonal balance is not a quick fix. It's a long-term adjustment. If you're not consistent, you won't see results, and the process of follicle damage continues in the background. Another harsh reality, if your follicles are already severely miniaturized, blocking DHT alone won't fully restore them. It can stop further damage, but regrowth requires combining hormone control with stimulation and proper nutrition. Ignore DHT and you're fighting hair loss blind. Control it, and you finally start addressing the real cause instead of chasing temporary fixes. You think washing your hair is basic hygiene. Wrong, done incorrectly. It's one of the fastest ways to destroy your scalp and accelerate hair thinning. Most people fall into two extremes, and both are damaging. Either they overwash their hair, stripping it aggressively every single day, or they underwash, letting oil, sweat, and dirt build up for days. Neither approach supports healthy growth. In fact, both quietly sabotage your follicles. Let's start with overwashing. Every time you wash your hair with a harsh shampoo, especially ones loaded with sulfates, you're not just removing dirt. You're stripping away your scalp's natural protective oils. These oils aren't the enemy. They form a barrier that keeps your scalp hydrated, balanced, and protected from irritation. Remove them too often, and your scalp becomes dry, tight, and inflamed. And remember, an inflamed scalp cannot support strong hair growth. Now, here's the twist. When your scalp gets stripped, your body often overcompensates by producing even more oil. So, you end up in a vicious cycle: oily roots, dry ends, and constant irritation. You wash more to fix the oil, which makes the problem worse. That imbalance weakens follicles over time. On the other side, underwashing creates a different kind of damage. When you leave sweat, sebum, pollution, and product buildup sitting on your scalp, it clogs the follicles. Think about it. How can hair grow freely when the follicle opening is blocked? This buildup also creates an environment for bacteria and fungal growth, leading to dandruff, itching, and inflammation. Again, you're back to the same root problem: an unhealthy scalp that cannot sustain growth. Temperature matters more than people realize. Hot water might feel good, but it's quietly damaging your scalp barrier. It dries out the skin, increases irritation, and weakens hair strands. Lukewarm or slightly cool water is far better for maintaining balance. And then there's the quality of products. Cheap shampoos are filled with harsh detergents, artificial fragrances, and chemicals that disrupt your scalp's natural pH. Over time, this weakens the skin barrier and makes your scalp more vulnerable to inflammation and damage. The correct approach isn't complicated, but it requires awareness. Wash your hair based on your scalp type, not a fixed routine. Use gentle, sulfate-free products. Keep your scalp clean, but not stripped. Maintain balance, because once your scalp environment is damaged, everything else you try becomes less effective. You keep blaming genetics, products, even your diet. But what if the real reason your hair is falling out is your own stress that you're ignoring every single day? This isn't motivational talk. This is hard biology. When your body is under constant stress, it releases a hormone called cortisol. In short bursts, it's useful. But when it stays elevated for weeks or months, it starts damaging systems that aren't essential for survival, and your hair is at the top of that list. Here's what actually happens inside your body. Hair grows in cycles: growth phase, rest phase, shedding phase. Chronic stress disrupts this cycle and forces a large number of hair follicles to enter the shedding phase at the same time. This condition is often called stress-induced hair loss, and it doesn't wait for permission. You wake up one day and suddenly notice more hair on your pillow, in the shower, on your hands. But it gets worse. High cortisol also reduces blood circulation to the scalp, meaning your follicles receive less oxygen and fewer nutrients. At the same time, it increases inflammation levels in your body, which again damages the scalp environment. You're hitting your hair from multiple angles without realizing it. Now here's the part most people refuse to accept. You can't out-treat stress with products. You can buy the best oils, the most expensive shampoos, even try advanced treatments, but if your nervous system is constantly overloaded, your body will keep shutting down hair growth. It's not optional, it's a survival mechanism. And no, saying I'm just a stressed person is not an excuse. It's the problem. Poor sleep, constant overthinking, lack of physical activity, and digital overload all feed into chronic stress. Your body doesn't care whether the stress is physical or mental, it reacts the same way. Another brutal truth: stress doesn't always cause immediate hair fall. There's often a delay of weeks or even months. That means the hair shedding you're seeing today could be the result of stress you experienced earlier. So, if you're not fixing the root cause now, you're setting yourself up for continued loss later. The solution isn't complicated, but it requires discipline. Deep sleep, regular exercise, controlled breathing, and reducing mental overload are not optional lifestyle tips. They are biological requirements if you want your hair growth cycle to function normally.